Have you ever had a participant look at you as if you'd just woken them up from a nap? And then there was this guy once who honestly faked a phone call just so they wouldn't have to join in with the group activity. And then there was this one corporate team building workshop I was involved with where one of the people honestly came up to me and said, "I'm just here for the catering." Okay, looks like this is going to be a fun time. Unwilling, disengaged, checked out. We've all been there. But over the years, I've discovered a few techniques that have helped me engage unwilling participants without embarrassing them, without threatening them, or even resorting to some form of interpretive dance. In this video, I'm going to share 3 simple strategies that strike at the heart of why people don't want to join in or participate, and transform them into willing, engaging participants. The focus of this week's video comes from Geoffrey in Singapore, and he asks, how do I engage unwilling or disengaged participants? When I think of unwilling or disengaged, my mind immediately is cast back many years ago in a very early pilot program that I was facilitating for the police department here in Victoria. And their goal was to take police recruits who were just learning the craft of policing and mixing them with groups of young people. Now, this was such a successful program. It ran for over 27 years. And the whole point was that these two, I would say, diametrically opposed groups would interact and learn a lot about each other. And it was enormously successful. And I was involved in the very first pilot program. And it was absolutely pissing down with rain. So everything was indoors. And immediately once we got started, we did the welcome and we talked about challenge by choice, all of the police officers jumped up, they were right there. And about 1/3 of the young people jumped in. 2/3 of them were set off to the side. Now, we honoured their choice, which was cool. By morning tea, hour and a half, 2 hours later, almost all of them, but about 10 of those young people had joined in. And by about lunchtime, all but 2 girls had jumped in. They were clearly unwilling or just simply disengaged, didn't see any benefit in for them. Now, I was so early in my career, if it was possible to look at someone and kill them, it would have been possible by shooting daggers from my eyes at those 2 girls. Now, their friends came over, even some of the police officers came over. They were resolute, they just wanted to sit out. And so the whole day continued like that. The whole day continued without their participation, they just sat off to the side. So they are clearly unwilling, clearly disengaged. And of course, the standard format, the final debrief at the end of the day, one of the police officers or the sergeants of the police officers conducted the final debrief by asking a question like, "So what did we learn about each other today?" And a couple of the police officers put their hands up. And then the first young person to put their hand up was one of these 2 girls. And I looked at them thinking, what have you got to say that would be of value? Oh, I wish I could remember their name. I did for a while, but it's been so long ago I don't know their name any longer. But this is what they said. "I didn't realize we would laugh at the same things as the coppers." Oh my goodness. They had been participating all day. They just weren't willing to join in yet. Now, this was a 3-day program. Those 2 girls joined in on lunchtime on the 2nd day, halfway through the program. They'd been participating at all levels except for the physical level. And it was an eye-opener for me. Psst. If this story resonates with you and your programs, go ahead and hit the like button now. This story is instructive for 2 reasons. 1, I learned a lot about what participation is and what it isn't. And 2, it reflected 3 critical strategies that I've used ever since to engage unwilling people in programs that also help me earn their trust. But first, a warning. What I'm about to share with you is not the truth. It's actually just something I've made up. But what is true is that I have faithfully applied these techniques very successfully to hundreds of groups worldwide to engage them and earn their trust. And each of these techniques on their own are valuable, but they actually build on top of each other. The first technique is honor choice. One of the most important philosophical frameworks I've applied with success ever since that program has been to honor people's choice. Now, for many of you, you might be familiar with the term called challenge by choice. That was a phrase coined by my mentor and adventure programming guru, Carl Ronke, many, many years ago. However, most facilitators view challenge by choice as a gift that absolves them of all responsibility. They view it as, well, I gave them a choice and they chose not to play, and so therefore it's on them. No. Challenge by choice is akin to understanding icebreakers. Simply calling something an icebreaker does not mean that that experience will break the ice. In the same way, just offering choice does not necessarily mean people feel comfortable enough to be able to make a choice, which leads us to the second most powerful philosophical framework or strategy. To accompany this choice is to embrace your primary role as a facilitator to create an environment in which every participant can make appropriate choices, consistent with the goals of your program. Let me just say that again because it's so critical. We often think that it's just all about achieving objectives and facilitating the process, but in fact your primary goal, your primary role as a facilitator is to create an environment in which your participants can make appropriate choices. And so if you've provided them with choice and you've worked really hard at creating an environment in which people feel safe, or indeed, maybe not even safe, maybe it's just about brave. Because to create a safe environment suggests that maybe they're all just participating from within their comfort zone. Well, in fact, it's got to be more than that because there is no learning within one's comfort zone. So I like to think of it in terms of creating an environment in which people feel brave, even just to step a toe outside their comfort zone. That can be really, really powerful. Now, if you're wondering what this primary role of a facilitator kind of looks like, I'm going to give you 3 quick examples of what it could look like in your program. The first one is sequencing. To sequence the gradual level of challenge in your program will help people along to make appropriate choices. For example, when I invite people to share, and there's lots of opportunities for that in my programs, is that I might start by sharing with just a partner, and then maybe in a small group, and then perhaps open that up to the large group. Because if you just invite people to share right off the bat in front of everybody, there's going to be a group of people who are not going to be comfortable with that. But if you start in pairs or small groups, and then here's a critical thing. Even when I do open it up to ask the whole group to share out, I will make it sound like this. Hey, if you've now got something that you've just shared with your partner, or you heard something that your partner shared, I invite you to now share that with the large group. Notice what I just did there. I didn't ask for everyone to share. And in fact, it might have been my partner that had a really good idea, but they don't feel comfortable to share that with the large group. So as their partner, I might choose to do that on their behalf. A second way in which you can embrace this primary role of a facilitator to create an environment in which people make appropriate choices is to use the word invite. The invitation. Now, I don't want to be too pedantic. It's not about even using the word, but people need to be able to feel that this is an invitation and not something they must or have to do. So it is part of your language, but it just needs to be reflected in what you create and design for your program as well. The third way in which you can embrace your primary role as a facilitator is to take fun more seriously. Now, it actually leads into our third and final strategy to help you engage unwilling and disengaged people. You want to make it fun. But fun is more than just laughter and telling jokes. The way I view fun is through the lens of a nourishment of soul. And I have not met one participant anywhere in the world that has not wanted to nourish their soul in some positive, forward-thinking way. Fun is contagious. It's fun when everyone's having a great time. In fact, it's really difficult to look cool when everyone else is having a great time. So for me, it's one of the most potent, most powerful tools I use to engage people, to encourage people's participation. So that was a lot of content, but I am interested to know what resonated with you the most. Was it about honoring choice, giving agency to your participants? Or was it about embracing your primary responsibility as a facilitator to create an environment in which your group can make appropriate choices? Or was it just simply making it fun, taking fun more seriously? Could you let me know in the comments below? Let me know what resonated and that you think would make the biggest difference to your programs. Oh, and if you've liked what you've watched today, go ahead and hit the like button. But if you've really liked what you've watched, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. And if you hit that bell button, YouTube will notify you the next time we drop some content, which is roughly about once a week. Oh, and coming up next, if you want to continue to hone your facilitation skills, there'll be a couple of videos that'll be coming up right here that you can click on that will take you straight to another lesson around honing your facilitation skills. In the meantime, have fun out there.